There is a 110,000 square foot palace hidden in the Las Vegas desert. We're talking about a single family residence sitting on 16 acres that feature some of the most expensive finishes imaginable. It's got a nightclub, a bowling alley, a full-blown athletic complex, 2 guest houses, 2 villas, a spa, a main house that's big enough to rival a luxury resort. And get this, for nearly 25 years, this compound sat completely empty, unfinished, and seemingly abandoned. Nobody knew why this property was built in the first place. No one knew who it was really even for. And when it finally sold in September of 2023 for just $25 million, the deal was signed thousands of miles away from Las Vegas at a US embassy in Asia. Today, we are diving into the fascinating and somewhat mysterious story of 99 Spanish Gate Drive and the almost unbelievable backstory of the guy who built it. Now, just to kind of get our bearings, let's start with the location of this place. 99 Spanish Gate Drive is tucked away inside the ultra-exclusive Spanish Trail Country Club. It's a gated luxury community located about 15 minutes away from the Las Vegas Strip. And while the Strip itself is notoriously known for its bright lights, its constant noise, and 24/7 energy, the Spanish Trail neighborhood, on the other hand, feels like a completely different world entirely. This is honestly the kind of neighborhood where celebrities and CEOs would go to disappear, not to be seen or chased down by the paparazzi. From the outside, you'd never guess that one of the largest residential compounds in the city is hidden right here, just a few miles from the chaos of the casinos. The entire compound amounts to just under 16 acres. The main house alone is 37,000 square feet. The spa and gym complex in there is almost 50,000 square feet in size. I'm not exaggerating. The spa and gym inside this house are as big as a Costco. We're gonna get into a bunch of photos of this estate here in a minute. I'm pretty sure most of you guys watching are really gonna like this house. But first, let's rewind the clock a little bit and dive more into the backstory of the original owner of this property. This place was originally and long tied to Prince Jeffrey Bolkiah, the younger brother of the Sultan of Brunei. He was the finance minister and chairman of the Brunei Investment Agency during the 1980s and 1990s. During his tenure with the BIA, though, Bolkiah was accused of misappropriating almost $15 billion from the BIA, a case that put him in a big legal battle with his brother, and a dispute that ended up becoming one of the most expensive legal cases in history. The Bruneian government spent an estimated $400 million just to recover the missing funds. According to Mansion Global, the prince was eventually ordered to forfeit his assets, which at the time included 1,700 luxury cars, numerous mansions around the world, and at least $900 million worth of jewels. I can't say whether or not the prince was up to no good during this time frame. That's not my place, but I will say this. It's pretty well documented that he was living a very lavish lifestyle during this time frame. Vanity Fair did a piece on the prince back in 2011. They titled the article, "The Prince Who Blew Through Billions," and they detailed just how over the top Bolkiah's lifestyle really was. They actually estimated that Bolkiah probably went through more cash than any other human being on earth. He owned over 250 companies, over 2,000 luxury cars, several luxury hotels, a Boeing 747, a massive collection of artwork. The icing on the cake, though, was his yacht. Oh my God, his yacht. This thing was delivered to Bolkiah in 1996. It's got everything you might expect in a super yacht, like a dining area, a gym, an office, a massive master suite, tons of exterior deck space. The list just goes on and on. But get this, all boats get a name, right? Like, especially big boats like this, they get named. Well, the name of Bolkiah's 55-meter super yacht gives you just somewhat of an idea of the type of guy he was. I'm not even going to say it out loud. You guys can just read it for yourself. It's not all that surprising that as a man who liked to flaunt his wealth in the way that he did, he also happened to be the mystery man behind this 110,000 square foot palace in Las Vegas. Property records don't indicate exactly when Bolkiah began to assemble this plot of land at 99 1939 Spanish Gate or exactly when construction started, but it was likely sometime in the early to mid 1990s. The home is registered as having been built in 1997, so that's probably when he received his certificate of occupancy, but this is also right around the time when Bolkiah began to face all of those financial challenges. So for the following couple of decades after the house was basically finished being built, the mansion appeared to have just sat there empty. The home was never listed on Airbnb. There weren't these constant lines of construction guys coming and going from the property. It was never used as like a film set or a movie set. All this made people start to wonder if this home was part of something bigger, like a laundering operation, or maybe it was just a monument to wealth gone wrong. This all brings us to October of 2023, okay? So this is when the public is finally able to get a glimpse of what's really going on behind these walls when this property is listed for sale for $25 million. Shout out to Rob Report and IS Luxury. They still have all the photos of the mansion inside and out. Everything on Zillow has already been scrubbed and taken down. So here's the front of the main house. Like, this is the motor court area that you see after you get through the gates, which from the main road, you can't even see this at all. If you're standing up in that main entrance area and looking back out at that motor court area, this is what you see. They call this the portico. Here's the foyer of the house. So we've got these custom wood paneled walls, a water feature, and marble staircase. Apparently there's a couple of reception rooms in this house, which makes sense. You know, this is one of those houses that's totally built for entertaining. Like, no normal person needs a reception room in their house. They call this one the baronial dining room, a word that I've never heard of, but apparently baronial just means large and impressive, which it is. Here is reception room number 2, and it's funny because this room definitely feels like it's pulling some inspiration from some of those casinos on the Strip. Here's some other random room. I don't know what this is for, but just take a second to absorb what's going on in this room and how expensive it must have cost to build this. Like, all of this inlaid marble on the floor, all of this intricate trim work around the ceiling, like the molding areas, the door casings and the doors themselves are even insane. The house has a library, no books in it, but here's the library. The back side of the house kind of mirrors what we saw on the front side of the house, but we've got a massive lawn back here. They call this the athletic club or entertainment pavilion. It's weird that this house was even allowed to be built. Like, I can't believe that this was actually zoned residential. Like, look, here's a shot of the inside of that athletic pavilion. What? I don't think I even saw an outdoor swimming pool, but we've got an indoor swimming pool, which has marble and tile inlaid into the pebble tech. This is that squash court that I mentioned earlier. Still don't know what that's for. We got a 2-lane bowling alley in here. Very classy. Here's another view of the back side of the house. This shows us how you get connected from the main house to one of the 4 guest houses. Here's a close-up of one of those guest houses. This guest house is probably bigger than most people's actual house. Then they rounded out with an aerial view of the entire property. I mean, this is just unbelievable. You would need a golf cart just to get around here. Like I said, the home was listed for sale, and after sitting on the market not even a week, the Spanish Gate estate went under contract, and just a month later, it sold for the exact asking price of $25 million. The buyer of the home was an estate called STLV Properties LLC, which was linked to a man named Jeffrey Burns. Jeffrey is the founder and CEO of a company called Blockchains. I'm not even entirely sure what they do, but it has something to do with decentralizing our information. Plus, I did see some reports that Jeffrey is a bit of a big landowner around the Las Vegas area, and so I think he's using blockchain technology for home ownership reasons as well. Anyways, based on those closing documents, a mobile notary actually had to travel and sign the deed of sale at the U.S. Embassy in Brunei. It's not 100% clear what Jeffrey's plans are with this property, but I'm pretty sure he's based out of Vegas, so it's very possible that he just uses it as his primary residence and then also as a venue to host work functions and stuff like that. Remember though, the home still isn't finished as of the last report. It's said to be about 90% complete, but it hasn't had any work done on it since 1999, according to the listing agent. So the new buyer does have his work cut out for him just to get this one to the finish line. Crazy story, but that's a wrap for this week's episode. I'll see you guys next time.